call this meeting to order. I want to wish everybody a happy St. Patrick's Day and a happy evacuation day for those who celebrate it.
And happy Monday.
And well, there's no such thing as that. But this is going to be a happy Monday. There's a big crowd here tonight. We are going to rearrange the agenda to accommodate this first. But first on the agenda, I'd like to have everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is open forum. If anybody has anything they'd like to add to an agenda for the future, you may step forward. I'll start with the board members, and if you could keep this somewhat brief, I'd appreciate it. Go right ahead.
I have an update for MBTA communities, but it's a little lengthy, so maybe we could take it at a different part of the meeting.
Do you want to do it at the
Town manager?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay,
Thank you.
Great.
I too have a question, but it can wait for the town manager report.
Great.
Anybody else? All right. Anybody at the podium? No. There being none, I will. Oh, we got two. Matt, why don't you hop behind her? Behind Miss Curtis.
Susan Curtis, High Street. I was wondering if each one of you could take 5 minutes and just address what will happen if the override doesn't pass, what the plan is going to be, and whether we can go back to the drawing board and revisit what has been put before us.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Where this is not on the agenda tonight, we can't deliberate. I will ask our town manager to address that if he has any questions, answers for that.
Yep. At town meeting, an informational sheet was provided to the voters there, and where we are, it looked like this for anybody that might have seen it. And what it means is the voters have approved the 5A budget, and if the 5B budget passes at the ballot question, then it's 5A and 5B. If it doesn't, then we're back to the 5A budget.
So Rainey, is it correct that if the 5B does not pass, that we will be doing a special town meeting in June?
No.
No, that's going to be the end of it. There's going to be no other.
The voters approved by a 10-to-1 ratio the 5A budget, and then they approved the 5B budget by a 3-to-1 ratio at town meeting, and now it's up to the voters to decide at the ballot.
And if it doesn't pass, what happens?
We have the 5A budget in place.
Period.
Yep. Yeah. So we're balanced. We'll have to do layoffs, unfortunately.
So
and move
when
forward.
somebody asked you that question, 5B
Yeah.
would we would be voting on it at a special town meeting on June 16th. Was that not correct?
No. There is no other budget. There's nothing has been prepared. That was a discussion that took place, I think, a month ago today. A lot has happened. We've got the 5A approved. Now we have the 5B approved by the voters at town meeting. Now we're going to wait to see what the election holds.
Okay, so if it doesn't go through, that's the end of it. There's going to be nothing that happens. So
At this point, that's where we are. Yep.
What was told to us was not true. Is that correct? That we were not going to be able to revisit the 5B, and it would be voted on June 16th at the special?
No.
Okay.
No.
Anybody else?
Elizabeth Shedd, Franklin Street. I know that on today's agenda that you were addressing help for citizens such as myself who are a senior citizen who have lived in Duxbury, own the house my parents bought back in the 60s. So that lets you know that I'm an old resident here. But humor aside, I have paid taxes to Duxbury, as have my parents, since the 60s. I've paid taxes as a single parent with 3 kids, putting them through our fantastic school system. Took some time off from not enjoying Duxbury as much as I used to. Now enjoy it as a senior citizen, and thank God for EMTs and library, town hall, etc., and senior center. But we need help now. I am on a true fixed Social Security-based income. 2.5 cost of living increase. I think I don't need to say anything more. We need help now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Matt?
Hey there, Matt Gambino, Mayflower Street. I'm not exactly sure what I'm asking for, but something to be considered for a future agenda. So, since the town meeting, I've had an opportunity to speak with a good number of folks in town, particularly seniors like Betty, who's on a fixed income, and I feel like there could be an opportunity for the select board to get by something a little bit more focused and targeted toward helping our seniors come up with a sustainable way for staying in their houses and staying in town. I understand that we have a number of task forces that are working on that, kind of on the periphery. So we have Livable Duxbury that has a particular charge. I spoke with Joanne Moore at the Senior Center this past week. And I feel like there are a number of activities that are sort of happening with committees and subcommittees. So I think that there may be an opportunity to just have the select board get behind something really focused and targeted that could potentially, even supersede Article 12 and some of the other things that we're doing. I have a feeling a lot of people are working on this, but I'm not so sure that it's centralized, and that might be something that the select board could could consider to discuss at a future meeting.
Could you, I forgot what Article 12 was. What did you mean by that?
Article 12 is the, I think you guys are talking about it later today. I think
Yes.
Article
Yeah,
12
okay.
is the.
That's why I asked.
Yeah.
Okay. We are talking about
There you
that.
go.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me just ask Randy about this.
Randy, if I could just address the February, I believe it was the February 10th meeting of the Select Board. That conversation is, you are able to watch that. I believe it's at about 2.23 in that meeting, just for informational purposes.
There being no other persons at the podium, I will move on to new business. We are going to skip over briefly, and I know we have counsel here, so I apologize, the executive session and the open session regarding collective bargaining, and proceed right to the recognition of resident and public safety personnel for saving a life. And we have Chief Reardon here. Are you ready to rock?
Hi, good evening.
There you go.
For those that don't know me, I'm Rob Reardon. I'm your fire chief. On behalf of Chief Garbone and myself, I want to thank the town manager and the select board for allowing us the opportunity to recognize these outstanding individuals. Tonight we are here to honor a citizen who is also a nurse, our firefighters, and a police officer who worked together in a critical moment to save a man's life. When every second counted, their quick actions and teamwork made all the difference. Their dedication and courage embody the very best of our community, and it is a privilege to recognize them here tonight. So I'm going to bring you back to September 1st, 2024. Paul McDermott, a Duxbury resident, was riding his bike. He was in the woods of Duxbury when he collapsed. His heart stopped and he wasn't breathing. I'm a firm believer of everything happens for a reason. This day, a nurse by the name of Kerry Sanson was walking her dog the same way she goes every time. When she was walking, she saw another dog, and she suddenly changed her path to a different one. This is when she came upon a man who was on the ground, not breathing. As a trained nurse, she immediately jumped into action. She called 911, and she began life-saving CPR. Duxbury resident Paul McDermott, who's here today, the man whose life was saved, asked to be part of the recognition tonight, for obvious reasons and deeply personal reasons. I would like to ask Paul to join us up here. Your presence here is a testament to the critical role of every link in the chain of survival, and a powerful reminder of the true impact of swift and coordinated action. We would like to start by recognizing Kerry Sanson, and if I can ask Kerry to please join us up here. You won't have to say anything. I'll do all the talking.
Stand up, stand up.
I think you have a lot of friends in this room right now. So she called 911, provided life-saving CPR. Without these quick actions, the efforts that followed might not have had the same outcome for Paul. So I would like to invite right now Senator O'Connor to come up so that he can present Kerry with a citation.
Good evening, everybody. First off, to the Select Board, thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight and to address this, and for hosting this as well. I think this is amazing. I remember actually seeing the story on Fox 25 when you two had reunited and that they were there, and hearing about this story, it really just goes to show the extraordinary things that ordinary people can do when faced with a life and death situation. And one of the things that we have the great honor of doing in the Senate as on Monday and Thursdays, we're able to recognize people who go above and beyond in our communities, and they give us a nice little citation. And so earlier today we had Kerry, your name read into the record, and it's in recognition of your extraordinary and heroic effort on September 1st, 2024, that saved the life of a fellow citizen in need of medical attention, and that we wish you nothing but the best for all the successes in the world. My mother was a nurse for 45 years, and I know that it's sort of ingrained in you to be a helper. But I'm so happy that you were there that day, that you took a different path, and what you were able to come out with was truly a miracle. So thank you for what you did, and it's very nice to meet both of you. And I'd just like to, on behalf of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, officially to you, Kerry Sansone, recognize you and present you this resolution.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If you feel comfortable. Our firefighters and police officers perform extraordinary acts of service every day, often without recognition, because it is simply their job. But tonight we take a moment to acknowledge their incredible work and the impact they have. I would like to now ask Chief Mike Carbone up to say a few words.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing us this time. First of all, you know, it's already been said by Chief Reardon, but Ms. Swanson, amazing. You know, I can't tell you how much I appreciate and how much the members of the Duxbury Police Department appreciate your heroic actions. And Mr. McDermott, seeing you again and you smiling is just, again, it just blows my mind, and I'm so thankful that you're here today, and to shake your hand and know that there was a group effort between Ms. Swanson, a civilian, Duxbury police officer, Michelle McDonald, and several firefighters who worked together as a team and saved a man's life. And it's just truly amazing when you think about it. And I couldn't be prouder. At this time, I would like to recognize Officer Michelle McDonald for her heroic efforts. Michelle was the first officer on scene, and Michelle jumped right in and helped Kerry with CPR, and they continued CPR, the two of them communicating. Kerry calls 911. They communicated back and forth until fire personnel could get there and take over. And it's that immediate action between Kerry and Michelle that, as we all know, time is an essence, and being there on time and having the availability of the personnel to be there on time is so important. Michelle, I want to present you with a life-saving award from the Duxbury Police Department. Thank you. Congratulations.
Given the opportunity to hand out, this is actually not the first time I've
Yes.
had a chance to meet
She was on
Michelle.
vacation.
Yeah,
Yep.
she was on vacation when Chief Reardon tricked Kerry and me to come up to the fire station to meet the EMTs who responded to the call, and little did we know all the media in Boston was going to So, but it was well done because the message got out about the chain of survival, which is critically important. And I was stunned to find out how many people still watch the local news. The phone started ringing everywhere. But if you don't mind, can I just give you a little hug? A little story is that when Michelle came up and approached Kerry, who was in minute 8 of CPR, which is completely mind-blowing, if you've ever done CPR, if you don't know CPR, please go to the monthly sessions at the community center. The fire department does a great job at training people. It's a fantastic program, and everyone should learn CPR. I mean, yeah. And I think Carrie said her response. You said, "Would you like to be relieved?" And I think your response was, "Hell yeah!" So here you go. Thank you so much. I eternal gratitude. Thank you so much.
All right. So like I said earlier, our firefighters perform incredible acts every day, often without recognition, because we simply call it their job. They operate in high-stress situations, making split-second decisions to provide exceptional care and protect our community. Their dedication and skill deserve our appreciation, not just for extraordinary moments, but for the life-saving work they do each day. In accordance with our department's policies and procedures, a firefighter who was not on the call at that time took the initiative to recommend our members to be recognized for their actions. This speaks volumes about the impact of their efforts and the respect they have earned from their peers. It's a testament to the incredible work they do and the culture of the excellence within our department. Tonight we'll be awarding a unit citation in recognition of outstanding service, exceptional dedication, and exemplary performance in the line of duty, demonstrating the highest standards and commitment to our mission. I'd like to welcome Paul up again. He's going to present the medals for each of our members. And I would ask if Captain Keith Nettie can first come up. Wrong one.
Face I remember from the emergency.
I'd next like to ask for firefighter paramedic Kevin Heath. Firefighter paramedic John Rhoda. Firefighter paramedic Matt Demers. And last but definitely not least, firefighter EMT Sean Meyer.
Yeah, my last comment, if any of you went to the override forums, I did get up and speak, and I literally said, if it means that we might lose firefighters, then this is truly a life or death issue. I think you all understand why I made those comments, so I'm so grateful that we got past town meeting. Hopefully everyone's going out and voting in the town election to support the override, because it truly is a life or death. And when you live in a town like this, when you dial 911, and you expect that the best trained officers are going to arrive as quickly as possible. That's what we have here in Duxbury, and we just can't put that at risk. So I want to thank Chief Reardon. What a fantastic job he's done. And obviously the police too, with putting together kind of like services for us town members that literally keep us alive. And so I'm so grateful for it. So thank you to everyone involved.
Excellent. Thank you again for the time, and if you'd like to get back to your meeting, we can probably get 50 people out of here right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Yeah, thank you, Chief.
It's a big contradiction in what's happening.
Top that.
Was asked and what the response was.
Wow, incredible.
So that
Thank you.
Can we keep the kids?
So cute. My chair's broken.
Oh, I hate getting the broken chair.
It doesn't move.
That's a terrible one. I thought we got, oh, maybe the good ones.
Basically, he has
No, I'm just gonna.
I don't know what network, though.
There you
I'm gonna
go.
fall
You have every right.
Cindy, do you want to switch?
Yes. I really do.
She's gonna
Do
fall
it,
over.
change it.
I don't want her to fall. Don't take offense.
Fernando loves his seat over there, though.
What? What, do you want, I can move over there.
No, no, I'll move.
I just want this chair.
Oh,
Can I take this chair?
Oh, I thought you wanted to switch. I offered to switch seats if you'd like to switch seats.
I don't want to switch seats.
oh, that's a rubbish chair.
It doesn't move and it falls backwards.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's
But other than that, it's great. Thank you.
We've had to go rid of that chair years ago. No, it's a broken one.
It is broken.
Yeah, push it out there.
Thank you.
No.
Okay, well, that was fun.
I'm gonna let a couple.
Is that yours?
It's fine. It's not mine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let the folks come in that.
Oh, yeah, it's mine.
Do we have an executive
Thank you.
session now?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to come in?
Awkward.
Jeannie and Russell.
So people have to leave the meeting then?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Folks, what we're going to do is go into executive session. And Chief, did you have something you wanted to say before we did that?
He's part of it.
Oh, he's, okay. All right. So what we're going to do is enter executive session, and we're going to ask members of the public that aren't part of this meeting to step out for just about 20 minutes, I would say, hopefully. If I could get a motion on that?
I move that we go into executive session for the following purpose. Discussion regarding collective bargaining, since an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining, strategizing, and negotiating position of the town. If the chair so declares in accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 21, and if the Select Board will adjourn immediately after the completion of the executive session and reconvene in open session.
As chair, I declare the necessity for an executive session to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining, as to do so in an open session may have a detrimental effect on the town's bargaining, strategizing, and negotiating position. And we need a roll call vote. Let's go right to left.
Fernando, yeah, aye.
Brian,
Sorry.
aye.
Right, Fernando, aye.
Brian, aye.
Michael, aye.
Amy, I.
Cindy, I.
All right. think everybody that was kicked off before is back on. All right, now that we're back in open session, we're going to have a discussion regarding collective bargaining agreements, and that's going to be led by our counsel.
Okay, which one do you want to start with?
Either one.
Okay. So why don't we start with DPW? So you have a memorandum of agreement in front of you. There's an employee in the DPW that worked out of grade, so basically was covering for a supervisor for a period of time. Based on the contract language, that only resulted in about a 30 cents or so per hour increase for that individual. So in discussions with the unions, we agreed instead to create a formula where the person would get roughly 3% more than what they were making in their prior position for that limited period of time, which I think was around 2 weeks.
Okay. I will take a motion.
I move the Select Board vote to approve the memorandum of agreement regarding Duxbury DPW employees AFS CME 93 Local 1700 as presented for use during successor contract negotiations.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Oh, I'm sorry, it says roll call here.
Do we require a roll call for this?
Not an open session.
Oh, all right.
Okay. All right, the second one.
So the second one involves the police union. So civil service law has changed, and now what we can do, any town or city can hire 50% off a civil service list and 50% off the list. So what that means is that you can get transfers from other departments without them having to go through the civil service process, which is a state agency that governs public safety. So in order to make that attractive to individuals to move over, the Chief Carbone had presented basically an MOA to the union that would allow for transfers to come over and keep their seniority for purposes of benefits, essentially. So like vacation time, instead of coming in, let's say you work 10 years in some other town, you come over to Duxbury. The old way was you'd start at 1 week of vacation. So this would allow the individual to come over and get whatever Duxbury allows for, let's say, 10 years of service. What it would not do is the current employees would still have the right to bid on vacation periods. They would still have seniority over that new person. It's just that the new person can come in with the benefits that they would expect after 10 years or so.
Thank you. I'm ready for a vote.
I move the Select Board vote to approve the memorandum of agreement regarding the Duxbury Police Union, MCOP, Local 376B, as presented for use during successor contract negotiations.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Russell.
Thanks, Russ.
Thanks, Rose.
Next, we have a discussion regarding reducing the membership of the Alternative Energy Committee to 7 members. I saw a text up there or a message up there from Wendell. Wendell, are you still with us?
Thanks, Russ.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wendell?
He's muted.
You're muted.
He's also. He did text. What did he say, Michelle? There was a text box in the bottom, a chat box.
You didn't say anything. There's no message.
Want to move on to Peter, and we can get Wendell on in a minute?
Sure. Mr. Quigley's here. We're going to move on to the discussion and acceptance of a proposed gift from Peter Quigley regarding the Duxbury Bay Water Quality Study.
Can you let Wendell know that if he wants to try to re-log in,
Yeah, he
we'll
has to be
try,
texted.
we'll try again?
Do we have a text for him?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Peter, you're up if you're ready. Sorry to jump right to you, but
Do you have that little PowerPoint that I sent?
we do. State of the Bay 2025 plan and timetable?
Exactly.
All right, thank you very much. All right, the floor is yours.
Perfect. Thanks, everyone. Happy St. Patty's Day, Evacuation Day as well.
Thank you.
So I came in about a year or so ago, I think, and I think we're making some very exciting progress, and I wanted to share the progress with you. I think in this report, the most important initiative is that the Duxbury Bay Management Commission produced a report on the state of the bay in 2009. And concerns have been expressed, which I'd shared previously, about some changing in the water quality. In particular, many of the communities in southeastern Mass, water quality is being negatively impacted by nitrogen runoff from people, largely excess use of fertilizers and septic systems, which are not effective and also in disrepair in many cases. So the people that make a living on Duxbury Bay, especially over the last 5 to 10 years, have been observing changes. And just to be clear, this isn't about like pollution. It's about more subtle changes in Duxbury Bay that are affecting water quality. And what those are most specifically is a sense that there's less water clarity, there's more turbidity, the water is cloudier, there's been large eelgrass die-off, which I think you're aware of. And there's also a sense that there's changing biological activity in the bay, that there's large amounts of green, slimy seaweed that's present on the flats, which has not historically been present. So I think there's reason to be concerned. And if we look at what's happened on Buzzards Bay and some of the estuaries around Buzzards Bay, the Mass DEP is actually enforcing new regulations for upgraded septic systems, specifically to nitrogen pollution that are affecting marshes, bays, and estuaries in southeastern Mass. Cape Cod Bay has got tremendous, Duxbury, Kingston, Plymouth Bay has a great amount of flushing from Cape Cod Bay due to our tides. But we're not immune. I'd say we're probably 25 years behind in terms of the really negative impacts to water quality. So really, just by way of update, this next page, this was a little bit of an investigative process because I think COVID interrupted some building momentum to do more ongoing water testing in Duxbury. So there was a little bit of initiative to find out who was doing what. If you could go to the next slide. Oh, did we miss one? No, there it is. Okay. So I started down at Buzzards Bay, who led to the Cape Cod Cooperative Extension, which led to the Center of Coastal Studies, which led to the US EPA and the USGS. And it turns out there's nearly 20 years of very highly qualified scientific data that's been done by organizations that are outside of Duxbury. And just to give you a sense, this is a screenshot from the Center of Coastal Studies website. An initial program was funded by the state. It was passed off to the Center of Coastal Studies, which is all the way out in Provincetown, in 2015. This just gives you an indication of the water quality measuring locations in Duxbury Bay, where we essentially have very high quality laboratory data going back to 2006 every 2 weeks between May and October. Really amazing that exists, because that's a treasure trove that gives us a 20-year baseline of the very issues that we're concerned about looking into the future.
So that 2-week testing continues
Well,
as we speak?
Yeah, so here is really the fortuitous timing. The state had originally funded this initiative, and it also extended into Cape Cod Bay, many of the communities in Cape Cod Bay, all the way out to Barnstable. Since 2015, the funding for the Center of Coastal Studies has shifted to Cape Cod, and they're basically funded through this year. To do this work, it's very uncertain that they would be in a position to continue it without additional funding. So we can't let this lapse. I mean, the value of having continuous data. So really the plan has been, how can we support the Center of Coastal Studies? How can we make a transition to an organization in Duxbury so we can take advantage of this incredible trove of data that is going to be very important to the town, I believe, in the future. So that was kind of the first. The second, again, another Cape Cod organization, the Cape Cod Cooperative Extension, with funding from Hui Sea Grant, has been focused on oyster farms. So they instrumented one of our oyster fishermen, Greg Morris's oyster lease going back to 2013. And what they took advantage of was on the travel lift right next to the Harbor Masters, that white column with the yellow cap on top. Inside of that is a cable with a cell modem, and at the bottom are the instruments, the same that are being deployed on the oyster lease in the summer. And this is just a screenshot that's showing chlorophyll, which is sort of the plant life growing in the water, turbidity, dissolved oxygen, and some of the other key parameters. And DBMS is sort of going through getting their feet wet, so to speak. This data is not yet certified for research, but their goal is to get their measurement system meeting the state standards, and then that way this data can be shared with these other organizations or others in the future. So really exciting that. Perfect timing, because I think the Center of Coastal Studies, it was getting difficult for them to justify driving up here and doing this work. We caught them at a time where we can overlap, we can learn, we can help each other. Hopefully maybe we could extend their work by providing resources to support them, or pass the baton and take it on. So that's super exciting. There's also of interest, north-south watershed technically starts north of here, but they've been very interested in eelgrass die-off, and they've done a very comprehensive study that's multi-year looking at eelgrass in Duxbury Bay. And at the bottom there, can give you some sense of over the course of the last 50 years, the green area on the extreme left, I can't see it here clearly, but I think it's like 1995.
Yeah.
And, this would be the most recent data down here, 2017. I've heard figures as high as perhaps 95% die-off of eelgrass in Duxbury Bay. Not good, right? I mean, you can imagine eelgrass is habitat for all kinds of juvenile fish and all kinds of things. Same things have happened elsewhere, but here are some of the positive. You don't want to just take data, you want to actually use data to inform action and take action that makes a difference. Chesapeake Bay, there was an attempt done, I believe it was done by the state, to seed eelgrass in Duxbury Bay. They tried for 2 years, it was unsuccessful, 100% failure. The Chesapeake has had a similar problem, and they've developed a method which we think is reproducible to Duxbury, where they've been incredibly successful at restoring eelgrass, which is underwater. It's not like the salt marsh grass, which is above water at low tide. This is always underwater. So there's opportunities, and now there's discussion about collaboration, leveraging the oyster farmers, leveraging DBMS, leveraging the scientific community to try and replicate what's being done in the Chesapeake. So I'd say as far as action, this is an area that people are paying attention to because people think it's really a critically important species to have in the bay. And I think there's going to be more to come on this over the coming years, that people are going to be doing stuff to try and turn this around. I'm talking fast. Is it going too fast? Everybody getting this?
There must be an underlying cause for the eelgrass, so just planting more grass would probably have the same results.
Yeah, so it's a really good question. I'm not a biologist, but the expectation is, and why the water quality related to all of these different programs has to do with the changing, like chlorophyll, the type of plant life, the turbidity. You imagine if the water's less clear, it's blocking sunlight and not allowing the sunlight to get to maybe where the eelgrass is. I'm not sure. I don't know what it is, but I think there are people that are on top of thinking about, we know how we can fix the nitrogen runoff, and I think what you have to do is identify the biggest sources before you propose solutions, but the solutions are basically sewers and reduced fertilizer use. It's proven. We can't afford to sewer the entire town, but there might be areas in the future the town has already sewered certain locations, Bay Road, Snug Harbor. There might be, through having good data, opportunities to identify where would be priorities for the town to reduce nitrogen, but first you have to know where it's coming from. But I think the solutions are pretty well known in terms of the nitrogen. But again, I'm not a scientist. I'm sort of a pot stirrer. I'm trying to like figure out who's doing what and see if we can do things to, turn things around. So this I had shared with you already. So why don't we just skip to the next page? This is really super exciting to think about the opportunity for collaboration. We had a meeting at, and it was really like a game of telephone, except that every time we made a connection, the connection stuck, and then we made 2 more, and then we made 4 more. We had a meeting on March 6th at DBMS, and there were 35 different organizations participating, both in person and virtually. I think we had 25 people or 35 people in person. These are, and it was Duxbury, Kingston, Plymouth, because our bays are connected. They're not perfectly connected, but we sort of have one body of water. But look at just through networking the number of organizations, institutions interested in studying and improving, and then eventually taking remedial action to improve water quality in Duxbury, Kingston, and Plymouth. So that's the first meeting, I think, of its kind, where it was kind of 3 towns, some NGOs, Nature Conservancy, Wildlands Trust, and others, Manomet. But then we had the state DEP, we had the Mass Bays, which is part of the National Estuaries, which is part of the EPA. DBMS is going to be a focal point for connecting people, getting people engaged, getting students participating, developing programming, and I think providing the town with a foundation of data which we can use in the future to make good decisions. So that, I can't tell you how exciting it was to sort of just started turning over stones, and then all of a sudden, and the goal is, of course, collaborate, cooperate, don't compete, right? Don't try and duplicate someone else's efforts. If we all can agree to share data, and then collaborate on opportunities for remediation. So already there was a grant proposed, which the Duxbury Bay Management Commission signed on to, that was led by the Mass Bays, DBMS, others, Duxbury Beach Reservation, with the goal to start doing eelgrass remediation starting in 2026 and 2027 in Duxbury Bay. So anyhow, some super exciting opportunities and other organizations that we can collaborate with. Okay, now I'm almost done. This was the table of contents of the last State of the Bay. We had, it took a couple of years actually. The data they looked at ended in 2019, but they didn't get the report done until 2011. You see in bold, this is really a subject matter expert. And if you're lucky enough to have a member on the board or a volunteer, but it's several hundred hours of work to analyze the data with the necessary scientific knowledge, but then to be able to generate a report that is useful to the community. It can't just be a technical summary. It has to be, what are we learning from the data, and what are things that we might consider on a go-forward basis? So what we came up with was, one, to do it in a timely basis, and to me it was 6 months. It wasn't like 3 years. We needed to hire a subject matter expert, and it just so happens that person was on the Bay Management Commission in 2009. His name's John Brawley, PhD. He's got all the requisite backgrounds. He's an assistant professor at UVM. He moved to Vermont. He was an oyster farmer. He was the lead technical contributor to the 2009 report. To get John to do the work and to do the scope of work, which is really review incredible amount of data that the town didn't have available, was a $10,000 project. And it was with some haggling, from a person who loves Duxbury. So we didn't go out to a market. You can hire engineering firms and stuff, but I suspect the price would have been much higher. And so I decided, I had a discussion with Rainey, I discussed with the Bay Management Commission. I was aware of what's going on in the town financially, and I said, I'm very happy to hire John and then have the report available to the Bay Management Commission, because I think time is important. I think the key is that the Bay Management Commission, we feel with the other organizations that are listed, like the DBR, can provide a lot of data on endangered species. Obviously the birds, but then concern about horseshoe crabs, and they have extensive amounts of data. They have great data on invasive species. They were doing video surveys of green crabs, which is a new species in Duxbury Bay, and the beach reservation has some extensive data. Chris Latazzi mentioned to me, she said the only thing they see underwater on the cameras at the Powder Point Bridge are green crabs. They don't see anything else. No fish, no flounders, no anything else, just green crabs. So the Bay Management Commission, I think, is capable through networking to the other organizations in town to prepare this report, not this part. So that was really, I was saying, okay, look, I don't want to wait. Let's get this done, and then I'd be very happy to have whatever the process is, to basically, essentially give it to the town. I mean, I would do it without giving it to the town, but the point is, this is something which I'm interested in, because there's so many people in the town that are interested in water quality, and I think those of us that spend time in the water can see ourselves that we need to be on top of it. So that was that, and I wanted to say, love your perspective, because that was the table of contents in 2009. We really should be focusing on issues that you believe the town is focused on, and you as select board members. We've considered two that were not on the list in 2009 that I think we should develop data on. One is sea level, because you can actually measure sea level, not just talk about it. So I think it's one of those things we better start measuring sea level in places in Duxbury that are of interest. And last is recreational fishing. Such a huge activity in Duxbury. I think it would be important for the Bay Management Commission to try and make an assessment of recreational fishing and the changes that are happening there. And last, I wanted to say that I think this is a town thing. The Bay Management Commission, and I don't think it has to be every year, but every 3 to 5 years, I think it's really important that the town commit to having some expert review of this type of data, because it's amazing. When I spoke to the people at Center for Coastal Studies, it's so much work to collect the data. They don't have a contract to, or they don't have the resources to look at the data. And I think for us to have input onto action that the town might consider in the future, the town needs to look at the data, but you have to have somebody who's really expert to do so, and that could be very different depending on how things change in the future. So what I just would like to suggest, and I think there are opportunities for grants, I think the Bay Management Commission, but I'm really encouraging the Bay Management Commission to own this, but you need to support, and if it requires $10,000 to $20,000 every 5 years, you should make that part of the planning, because I think this type of information is going to be really important to protecting one of our great natural resources. Does that make sense? Is that helpful? Too much?
I just want to thank you, Peter, for taking the lead on this, and your gift of the $10,000+ to kind of kick this off and reinvigorate the State of the Bay report. And I think your recommendation is a valid one, right? We need to do this on a regular basis and provide funding, or figure out how we can fund this going forward.
Yeah, and the Conservation Commission. I mean, there are ways we could look for funding, but I think this, when I've talked, I think this is the thing the town wants. This information on a periodic basis so the town can use it.
Yeah.
This is hugely important and critical to
Check with
the
them.
town of Duxbury.
It's
So
10:10.
thank you very much.
Of course,
Really.
yeah,
Thank you.
happy to
This-
do it.
All right.
This is long overdue. We've been, Fernando's been also nudging that committee to provide us with this information. It's long overdue. It is incredibly important, and I am very thankful that you are, pushing this forward. And I think a commitment from the board
Yes.
to keep this going. Because again, it kind of fell into a hole, and it's been tough to crawl out of that hole.
That's right. At the end of the day, the Duxbury Management Commission are just volunteers,
Yep,
right? And at the
yep.
end of the day, I mean, this is really important work, so we need to help.
Yeah,
Help the commission with funding. At the end of the day, it comes down to money, right? And so we need to figure out a way to.
And then
do
really the
this.
principle of continuity, because
Yeah.
my impression, I joined the board recently in the last couple of years. I think they were very task-oriented, like we were relaying out the mooring field. We were looking at aquaculture. I mean, there was really specific initiatives where there was a lot of heavy lifting, but then there wasn't the kind of ongoing. I think this is ongoing. This is the kind of thing that's going to require sustained effort. I think there'll be a lot of organizations that can do the lifting. But I think this is the right place for it in Duxbury, the Bay Management Commission, to sort of own this initiative. And I'm super excited. DBMS is really excited, and they think about, I mean, you imagine in the summer having students out there doing eelgrass surveys with masks and snorkels, like trying to, getting directly hands-on about the
great.
science.
Yeah.
So it's really exciting.
Yeah,
Awesome.
really.
All right, thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter.
Yeah.
Thank you, Peter.
Rini, how do we go about institutionalizing funding this every 3 to 5 years?
I'll have to talk to Mary.
Talk to Mary.
Yeah, Mary, and when we have the new planner on board too.
Well, and Peter did mention that there are grants
Yeah.
available
Yeah,
for this
exactly.
kind of thing, and that the
Yeah.
Bay Management, maybe that could be part of.
Part of it,
Our
yeah.
new
Kind of an
assistant
ongoing-
planner.
Yeah. Planner,
I need to vote to accept the gift.
yes.
Okay.
What do we need to do?
To accept the
You ready for the
gift.
motion?
Yes, I'm ready
Yes.
for a motion. Yeah.
Okay. And Mr. Quigley, not to write a check out of your checkbook, however, I'm looking at the number here. It looks like $10,640. Is that right? Okay, great, thank you. Want to make sure it's the right amount. I move.
exceed.
Okay. I move that the Select Board accept with gratitude Mr. Peter Quigley's donation in the amount of not to exceed $10,640 to be applied toward the funding of a new water quality study of Duxbury Bay.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
Grateful aye, thank you.
Thank
Very
you.
nice, thank you. All right. Wendell, are you back?
Yes.
All right.
Yay.
We have a discussion regarding reducing the membership. If you want to give us a explanation or a request?
Right, well, currently, the committee size is set at 11, and that's, we have already not two, but three empty seats. And nonetheless, it's still difficult, well, because of that, it's difficult to reach a quorum, so that many meetings that we have, since we don't have a quorum, it's not even an official meeting, and we can't vote on any of our issues as a result. Also, it seems clear that we have a core of people right now who are committed, and I think we could function well as a committee with a size of 7. So that's essentially what's going on.
Thank you.
And I don't think we're the only committee, and I remember John Tuffy at the recent town meeting pointing out that it would be a great idea for people to volunteer, but we're just experiencing that there are too many conflicts in people's lives, and they're not just able to serve on the committee. So we think we could function well as a committee of 7.
Thank you very much, Wendell. Cindy, did you want to add anything, or are you?
No, I'm
concur? I know
on.
you're the liaison.
I am absolutely concurring. Wendell and I have talked about it, and it makes perfect sense.
All right. Any other questions from the board or the
I
public?
do have a question. And Wendell, thank you, and thanks to the committee for all the great work. I'm excited to, hear more about the rates. We're going to talk, or we're not talking about it tonight, but the work you've done with alternative supply. So I know that the core that you've had is working very hard. The question I do have, though, is I look at the existing list of members. I only see a couple of vacancies, so I was curious if we've figured out how we're going to cull the list.
I think someone has resigned, right? Is that correct?
Actually, right, exactly, has resigned, so why that information has not clearly been communicated to the town clerk, I'm not exactly sure. So and in addition to that, there is another person who has not put in a resignation, but I expect it tomorrow, which is our next meeting date. So that would bring us down to 7, not what you see on the town website.
So by voting tonight, we're not involuntarily firing anyone.
Right.
From their volunteer
He's
service.
getting the axe.
Okay, great, thank you.
That's a good question.
Yes.
In case. All right, I'm happy to offer a motion.
Yes, please.
I move that the Select Board reduce the Alternative Energy Committee's membership from 11 to 7, effective as of this date.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks to all the remaining members.
Yes, thank you. Thanks,
Thanks, Wendell.
Wendell.
Thanks, Wendell.
Thanks for sticking with us tonight.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Discussion pertains to the creation of a Taxation Aid Committee pursuant to the adoption of Article 12 at the March 8th, 2025 annual town meeting, which authorized the creation of said committee in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 60, Section 3D, for the purpose of defraying the real estate taxes of elderly and disabled persons of low income. Rainey.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So, in your packet, you've got a memo from me on this subject. And as you all know, on Saturday the 8th, the voters approved Article 12 to accept those provisions that you just mentioned. Excuse me. And sparing you the rereading of Article 12, which you are already familiar with. As a first step in the process, I am recommending that the board approve the draft charge, which I have provided for your consideration. This has been modeled after similar committees in other communities. And then as a second step this evening, I recommend that the board solicit talent bank forms from the public to serve on the committee. Mass General Law states that the following persons may serve on the committee: the chairman of the Board of Assessors, the town treasurer, and 3 Duxbury residents appointed by the board. Once our office has received talent bank forms after a couple of weeks, we'll set up the interview process for the board with the candidates. If you have any questions, let me know.
Board members have any questions?
I don't.
When would we expect this new group to start actually having meetings? Would it be
Once
that
populated.
new fiscal year?
Oh, yeah, right away.
Or we don't have to wait until July?
Excuse me, no, you do not.
Okay, great.
Yeah, no, once we get some applicants in for you guys to take a look at, we'll get them up and running.
And what will it do before it gets funded? Because it needs donations to.
It will establish we have a whole list of stuff for them to go through. They'll review the charter so that they understand it, the charge. They'll review an application. We have a couple of application processes for them to take a look at and let them decide which one they like, or they can modify it. So they have not just the process, but then the application itself. And then it'll be open to receive donations for those people that want to make them.
Okay.
Will they create a process for receiving donations as well?
Yeah, all of that will be covered.
Oh,
I think statute may cover that, but again, that's to be explored.
I know I'm putting you on the spot, but
No, it's okay.
how would donations be received to this? That was kind of a question.
I don't know. I think it's as simple as writing a check,
Okay.
I think so. I think you just, huh?
and it comes out of your taxes.
Right,
You
comes
can-
out.
Tax, you tick a box in your tax form.
So it's like
Yeah.
a taxable.
Yeah, like you pay more on top
Yeah.
of when you're paying your taxes, there's a box that says,
Yes.
do you want to,
donate to the
yeah.
Yeah.
Taxation Aid Committee.
And how, what is the process going to be to determine, or who's in charge, not this group, to determine who's eligible?
They will
for-
establish that. There's a statutory.
This group will establish
they
that
will.
as well?
Yeah,
I'm sure it must follow Mass General Law, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
exactly.
okay.
They just have to establish.
Yeah, it's not
it.
like some
It's not-
willy-nilly
you don't
thing.
make up stuff.
No,
I think, yeah.
no.
So my guess is it'll be back before us
Yeah.
to make, once they've established it, to put that in place.
They'll establish the stuff, the policies and the procedure. But yeah, I'll make sure you guys see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right. Does any members of the public have any questions? I know Joanne Moore's on there as well. If anybody has any questions, comments, forever hold their.
This
Yes.
is just housekeeping. Town meeting voted it in. So
I agree.
This is
This
just
is just putting the
housekeeping.
I
committee
just want to make sure
together.
everybody.
Right. And for
all right.
those who are interested in applying, more information will be forthcoming.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
It does say at some point, and I don't think this is tonight's decision, that there will be a liaison from the board.
We'll deal with maybe.
In the future, once we get the applicants in and we can populate it, automatically, the membership is comprised of the chairman of the board and the town treasurer. And then
I
it's,
was the chairman of the Board of Assessors.
sorry, did I not say that? I just read chairman of the board. Yeah, chairman of the board
I
of
don't think
assessors.
there is a member of the select board on this committee.
No, there isn't.
No, but there's a liaison
Right.
from the select board.
Yeah, there can be a liaison.
Liaison,
TBD.
TBD.
Okay.
TBD.
How about a motion?
Yes.
I move the Select Board approve the Taxation Aid Committee charge as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next, we have a discussion regarding a liquor license change. Is
Jim
Jeannie?
Sperber is,
Is Jeannie gone for the night?
Yeah, I think so. Why? Did you need her?
Okay. Discussion regarding a liquor license change of manager for Brothers Marketplace.
do we want Jim to address it?
Yeah, that would be great. Or the town manager can.
Who's Jim?
They're
Jim
just
Sperber
changing
from
managers.
Brothers.
So we have an Alcoholic
Oh, right.
Beverages Control Commission that's requiring approval from the Select Board as the local licensing authority for a change of a manager.
Real estate council.
Advertising and abutter notices are required.
Are not required.
Not required.
Not required.
Not required, sorry. Is Mr. Sperber here to address this?
Yes, I am.
Great, thank you. The floor is yours.
Great. I'm here to represent RBSBW, which is the liquor license entity for Roach Brothers Supermarkets and Brothers Marketplace. We have Dave Fellerman that we are submitting for approval as the new manager of record for the liquor license. And I think Dave is here too.
Yep.
All right.
Chair, if I could just
Yeah, go
inquire.
ahead.
So, Jim, this question is for you. I think I know the answer, but I'm going to ask anyway. We recently saw an application come before us for, I believe it was a change of licensee. So to clarify, tonight, we're simply changing the manager within the new license, right?
Yes, it's not necessarily a new license. There was a change of beneficial owner
Right.
interest
Yep.
for the licensee. And so the old manager is no longer working that is, the manager of record is no longer working full-time. So Dave Bellman, who works at the Brothers Marketplace, is our submittal for the new manager of record.
Great, thank you.
All right, I'll take a motion unless anybody has any questions. Public? All right, all ready?
I move the Select Board, acting as the local licensing authority, approve the change of manager to new manager David Fellerman for the Brothers Marketplace located at 46 Depot Street, license number 89883-PK-0300, subject to the requirements of the ABCC, Alcoholic Beverages Control Commission.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Hey, Mike, will you hand me that blue notebook?
Yes, of course. Next, we have a seasonal liquor license renewals.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. For Duxbury Beach Park 2 and Duxbury Package Store, along with related common victualler and parking licenses. I know we dealt with, all right, so the first one, a discussion regarding the seasonal liquor license for Duxbury Package Store. This seasonal liquor license is effective from April 1st to November 30 unless extended by the local licensing authority to January 15th. That extension to the Duxbury Package Store, Inc. in 2024, and they are once again asking to extend it to January 15th of 2026. And that is what I recalled. I remember we did this last year. Does everybody was on the board back then, does anybody have any questions about that?
I presume they
Any-
behaved properly?
Well, that was my
Yeah.
question is basically, yeah, there must have been, how do you call it, were there conditions at all stipulated on this extension? Or just the good business practice, I suppose, wasn't it, right?
Regulated through the.
Regulated through, yeah,
The Alcoholic Beverage Commission.
right,
And I haven't, well, there's certainly no reason. I
no
haven't.
reason. Yep, okay.
Anybody from the public have any questions? I'm happy to take a motion on that one.
I move the Select Board as a local licensing authority approve and renew the seasonal off-premises all kinds of alcohol beverage license issued to Duxbury Package Store, Inc., license number 00046-PK-0300, effective from April 1, 2025 through November 30, 2025, subject to satisfactory inspection by the town, submission of all required documents, and payment of all funds/fees owed to the town of Duxbury, and the conditions of the license.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And for the extension?
Did you have something, Fernando?
No, I thought we just need to vote on one, don't we? We got to vote on both?
Oh, did you do the, oh, I'm sorry.
Because if the extension is granted, we just, sorry, I'm just, need to do both? Interesting. Okay.
All right.
I move the Select Board as a local licensing authority approve and renew the seasonal off-premises all kinds of alcoholic beverages license issued to Duxbury Package Store, Inc., license number 00046-PK-0300, effective from April 1, 2025 through January 15th, 2026, subject to satisfactory inspection by the town, submission of all required documents, and payment of all funds/fees owed to the town of Duxbury, and the conditions on the license.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have Duxbury Beach Park 2. This is, again, a seasonal liquor license, common victular and parking. Just to close this for a second.
Duxbury Beach Park 2 is the one?
Yeah.
At Blakeman's, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I guess my only question, Rainey, is the parking lot. I thought we had done this separately in the past, but I'm just curious what the, why we're doing this together and what is the, if you know, what are the fees and funds that we receive for that parking lot?
For the parking lot at Blakeman's?
Yes.
None. That's theirs. They get all the proceeds for that.
I know, but it says in here, the receipt of all renewal paperwork and payment of all funds and fees owed to the town of Duxbury.
Yeah, that would be related to the licensing itself.
Right. Do you know what kind of funds or fees we receive to provide a license for 1,400 cars at the beach?
I think it's related just to the price of the license for the liquor license.
There's
Is
two.
that correct, Michelle? The fees that it's mentioning in the motion, is that related strictly to the fee for the licensure?
Yes.
Yeah. What does it cost for one of these?
I do not
Okay.
fees on these. Oh, the fee for the Duxbury Beach Park 2 is $50 right in the corner, and then the Duxbury Beach Park 2 is $35.
We receive $35 for providing a license to a 1,400 car
Yep.
parking lot.
Well, we also give oyster licenses for $25 to $6 million
I get it.
operation.
Yeah.
So
It's just the
that isn't
price.
part of our beach lease? That
No, no,
parking?
no, no, no,
No.
It's separate,
So-
distinct, yeah.
Okay.
No, I know.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions?
I'm wondering what your question is.
No, I'm just curious.
That's
No,
a good question, Amy.
No, I'm just interested. I mean, it's obviously a revenue generator for Duxbury Beach Reservation. We provide a license for it, and I'm just,
They can't license it, so.
So again, maybe the question is, why do we need to provide a license? Maybe that, because what's the purpose
it's
of the
theirs,
license?
right? They own it.
But what's the purpose of the license?
Well, the town licenses all liquor establishments.
Oh, no, liquor, I know, liquor, I
Parking.
understand that, parking.
I'm talking about the parking lot.
You're talking about the parking. Why do we have
Yeah,
to grant?
why do we permit that?
Why do we permit the parking?
It's not part of the lease.
And it's a $35.
I don't know.
Well, the only reason we do it is we make $35. I don't know. It's a good
I'm
question.
trying to see where it
Since
says.
we don't get anything for it, right?
That's what, come on.
That-
Yeah, we
well,
don't get
that's a
anything.
very
say-
good question.
where
That's
does it
why I
say
asked
parking?
you
We
that.
don't receive any, we get $35.
It's here.
You don't
Yeah.
want the
But we
35
also
bucks?
have, there's a license in here, a draft license, for providing parking facilities for approximately 1,400 cars for the purpose of providing public recreational facilities at Duxbury Beach.
Yeah.
And then it just describes the premises.
So why do we have to license that, I guess is the question.
Yeah,
that
it
we're
says
all-
for providing parking. Yeah, yeah.
I think it's probably because it's part of the premises.
The licensed premises under the liquor license?
Why don't we just not do it tonight? And we'll do the liquor license.
So we can understand. It's
Then
always
we'll
good.
come
I
back.
always like to understand what we're doing.
I'll take a motion on the liquor license.
I move the Select Board as a local licensing authority approve and renew the following seasonal on-premises wine and malt beverages license issued to Duxbury Beach Park 2, license number 00034-RS-0300, effective from April 1st, 2025 through November 30, 2025, subject to satisfactory inspection by the town, submission of all required documents, and payment of all funds/fees owed to the town of Duxbury, and the conditions on the license.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
So we'll just make a note that we didn't do anything with the parking license
Maybe
or
we
the
could just put it
victular
on for-
license.
I understand the common Vittler part, but I don't understand the parking license.
Yeah, we need an explanation for the parking. Why do we have to license the parking?
I'll do the victular license
Yeah, let's
right
do the
now.
victular.
We
Yep.
just did the victular, didn't we?
No, we did
No,
the
that was the liquor
liquor.
license.
The
Oh, right,
victular
yeah.
and
Oh, yeah,
parking are
okay,
in
good.
one.
We just
Why don't we
separate them.
renew the common victular license?
Yes.
Yep.
I move the Select Board renew the common victular license issued to Duxbury Beach Park 2 for the year 2025, subject to town inspections, the receipt of all renewal paperwork, and payment of all funds/fees owed to the town of Duxbury.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Parking TBD.
And we can put that
I'm sure.
parking lot on the next agenda.
I'm sure somebody from Blakeman's will be over here to explain it for us.
I don't think it's Blake.
No, Nancy will be here.
Nancy will be here.
Yeah, it's not Blakeman's. All right. Declaration of surplus item, a Harbor Master float. This float was used at the Bluefish River and has come to the end of its useful life with the town. It is being replaced this year. The Harbor Master is requesting that the Select Board declare as surplus the following item, a 1990 16 by 20 float. I have one question on this. Is the replacement part of 5B, or was it part of 5A?
No, it was,
Or was it a-
CPC.
CPA.
Yeah,
Is
CPA.
CPA, right?
Even better. It's obviously it's not
No.
salaries. I know it was something he presented in his,
Yeah, it was.
That's why I was
Remember, it passed, it was part of the, it was to the end of the day, maybe that's why.
it was a capital.
It was,
It's capital.
It's what?
It's not salary, it's a
no,
float.
it was a
it's
donation from the
yeah,
CPA.
Community
Community
preservation.
Preservation
CPA article.
Fund.
CPA article.
All right.
So it's a
It'll be
standalone.
replaced.
Yeah,
Yep,
but you're right, they're not going to go without.
they
In
aren't
the
going to go
event-
with that.
In the event.
That's what I want to make sure.
Yes.
A certain vote doesn't happen a certain way, yes.
All right.
So I'm happy to make a motion.
Motion.
I move the Select Board declare as surplus the following: approximately 1990 16-foot by 20-foot float, in order to allow this item to be disposed of, sold, auctioned, or donated, all in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 30B, and the town's rules and regulations, with the proceeds to go to the general fund.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, town managers report.
Thank you. Just two quick things for you. One, I just want to let you know that I've been working with the town of Kingston to establish an intermunicipal agreement between the town of Kingston and Duxbury for a veteran services district. Just started the process, got a document already drafted. I'll be shooting it over to council and then sending it over to Kingston for their input as well. So we hope to have that up and running in the months ahead. The next item I had was an update from Chris Lutazzi. She asked me to let people know that there are 2 events that are going to be occurring this Saturday, March 22nd at Duxbury Beach. After people go and vote, they can run down to the beach and they can help with the beach cleanup if they're interested. And they also have to do the deterrent setup for our avian visitors. For people that might be interested in attending and participating in either or both events, sign up is available either on-site in person or online at the DBR's website, which is Duxbury Beach Reservation, all one word, .org.
Can I ask a quick question about the beach deterrent program?
Yes.
Which is those pallets,
Yes, ma'am.
right? So last year, that there wasn't a clear understanding that the pallets would be removed, but by
Oh,
some...
it's clear now.
It is clear, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to make sure that was
Absolutely.
made clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a few things, Rainey. No, and we don't need to discuss tonight, they're not on the agenda. Number one, the escort program.
Yep.
If that could be on a future agenda to explain it to people,
Sure.
so they know what it is. I know an email went out.
That's contingent upon the passage of the override.
I understand.
Yep.
Well, yeah, okay.
Yes.
We can deal with, yes. Just so people know why we're doing it and what the benefits
Yep.
are and what our goal is. It's not a, yes.
Yep.
Number two, is more of a conversation. I speak for myself and not the board members here. When we had those meetings with the Finance Committee and we talked to the individual department heads, there were certain things that were somewhat eye-opening. And one of those in particular was the backlog with the facilities group. And I know we're addressing that with 5B. One of the questions I asked during that meeting was, would it be beneficial to have a facilities committee? Residents that can assist, can roll up their sleeves, participate and help with that backlog. Obviously, if they don't have the licenses or they can't be in certain buildings and things like that, but if there's ways they can help in the community, our facilities director seemed open to that. I don't know if I have the support of my fellow board members, but I would like to continue that discussion or set up such a committee. A 750 task backlog and several different facilities directors over the past few years is concerning to me. And if there are members of this community that can help with smaller jobs and things like that, or even just to prioritize some of those or solicit from the community I don't know what their task would be, their charge would be, but I think it's a place where I think people could help.
Maybe. I had given that some thought because there's been some discussion about that on social media. With respect to the number of facilities directors that we've had 3 in 11 years. We've had more town planners than we have facilities directors.
Oh, I know.
And our facilities directors tend to have a long run. In Duxbury, building committees have only been created when we're building a new project. If we have a building that's going to be constructed, that's when they are created. They do not serve on a day-to-day capacity for operations to assist either the DPW or the facilities department or any other department. The committee of that type works on the development and the implementation of a specific building project, and largely because there's a huge liability problem there by having volunteers combing around in buildings. And that's not to say that they might not be qualified, but there's a reason that we hire people to do that.
Yeah, and I'm again open for discussion on this. I even wonder if there's a way to have a committee that can prioritize and keep a tab on that. I mean, asking a facilities director that's out doing this all the time doesn't have a moment to herself even to prioritize and not necessarily an oversight, but a group that can help.
That's why we're hopeful that the override passes to give her the support staff she needs and the funding, because those are the 2 big issues.
But this sounds like a cost saving, a way to save money for the town. I mean, we have a lot of very, very talented, we rely on them heavily, people in the community that are willing to donate. And if there was a group formed, even if it's to kind of project out, have a strategic plan for buildings that are going to, all buildings are going to need maintenance, some buildings are going to need more than others at various times. So to have a committee that's assisting with those projects and having a plan moving forward, I would think would be a benefit to the people working in the facilities department.
I think we need to understand the problem we're trying to solve, right?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming, and I did speak with the previous building maintenance director, right? So they have a work order system, right? So they've basically got all the maintenance required is in a work order system, and basically it's a question of getting it done, right? Executing the work orders that are out there to repair, replace whatever, right? Whether it's the belt on a fan is there every 6 months, and there's a work order for that. So it's a question about executing it. So maybe Katie would be the best person to say whether a committee would actually help her get rid of the backlog, right? Which I think that's what it is. I think she understands the scope of the work that needs to be done. It just doesn't have somebody and/or funding to go out and execute the work.
No, I agree.
So it's maybe the best thing is let Katie come back and say, hey, this is the best thing since sliced bread, and this can do this, and this, and then we can have a conversation with the person that understands it. Yeah?
If the override were to pass and we were able to populate her department to the level that she's requested, that after she's had some time for that to settle in, I think that would be the best time to have that discussion.
Yeah, and I'm
Not
happy
prior to, because right now the Fiscal Advisory Committee does all the project planning, and they do it on a long-range basis.
For projects. And this is where I'm going more, Fernando's. At some point, maybe we'll see how the vote goes and let her settle in.
Yep.
But I would like to support her.
I agree.
And that group, because I don't want to be in the same position in 2 or 3 years where she's like, now I need 3 people. I'd rather get ahead of this.
We want to set them up for success rather than failure.
I want to set her up for success,
Yep.
get this backlog done, see what issues she's facing. I think it'd be good to have a committee of people. I've said it.
Let her decide, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we're also we oversee this.
I know, but we
She's the department
she's
head.
the
I
department
get it.
head. Let's bring the department head who understands the issue.
I agree with that.
Okay.
I
And
agree with that.
then basically, by asking her to come, then she knows she's got our support. Because
100%.
we want to understand what's going on, and we want to understand what we can do to help.
I agree.
Are we discussing something that's not on the agenda tonight?
No, I was just trying to flush out
Yeah.
what I'm asking. I think
Sounds like we're discussing it.
No, what we've done is now what I have learned is I understand that following the override, there may be a possible discussion on this.
for an agenda item.
Yeah.
And we got to get the
Right.
right
Right,
people.
and we did kind of defer our open forum issues to town
Yeah,
manager
and
at
I'm
the
not,
time.
yeah.
Yeah, you
Oh,
guys
yeah,
did,
no,
yes.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
And we're talking about who's going to be here. Go right ahead.
Yep.
To that end, thank you for the segue.
I do have one more after yours.
Oh, all
So
right.
Go right
So
ahead.
I'd like to provide this board with an update on MBTA communities.
Oh, nice.
So the MBTA Communities Working Group last met on Thursday, the 13th, to discuss compliance options. And I'll get to, in announcements, there are a couple of upcoming public forums that we'd like folks to come to. And all of our meetings are, of course, open to the public. MAPC is our technical consultant, and you may recall that MAPC helped us with the comprehensive plan back in whenever that was. So the MAPC attended our meeting on the 13th, and at our request, provided us with a few potential compliance options that I'd like to share with you. I don't have maps tonight, but since this is not really a forum to discuss, I want to just highlight what MAPC has looked at. All of this includes land that is already developed. So I'll give them to you in order of A, B, and C. All three involve Island Creek, which was a main component of the proposal last time around. So the first one is Island Creek plus the village of Duxbury. The second one is Island Creek plus the Southscape condominium complex on Lincoln Street. There is a little bit of town-owned land across the street that potentially could be included to eliminate some undeveloped land on Southscape. We can talk about that, but it's...
Affordable Housing Trust wanted that to...
Yeah. And then the final one is Island Creek plus Deacon's Path, which is already developed, also known as Duxbury Woods, plus Bay Farm on Park Street, already developed. All these properties are already developed. There are public outreach programs, which I'll get into, as I said, coming up on March 25th and 26th. And we hope that folks will show up and share their thoughts with us.
So the utilizing already developed land, but it then zones it for an increase in density.
Correct.
Got it.
Thank you for the update on that.
Sorry, I just had one question for
Do we
Rainey.
have those dates? I'm sorry, did you already give us
The
dates
25th and the 26th.
of this month?
Of this month, and when we get to announcements,
announcements.
I'll get into
Oh,
more
okay.
detail as to where, when.
That's coming right up.
One's daytime, one's nighttime.
Right.
Rainey, we're working on a complaint on behalf of the town. No, when I say we, the town is working on a complaint against the state. I understand that hasn't been filed yet.
That's what I have to check.
Okay.
I don't believe that it has, but I'm
All
going to
right,
check with Amy.
but that's still, we're still moving forward with that.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. I had one more, but I'll defer. Go ahead.
I just had a question, just for the record, because I had an inquiry and I could not remember the answer. And so it's just a question for Rainey, which was, we didn't address the water rate increase conversation. The board had wanted to do that, but we had to put it off until after the election and the vote. Why? I could not remember why.
We had to post a public hearing,
Okay,
and there's a requisite timing for that,
okay.
and that's on Monday. Next
It's
Monday.
this coming, okay, thank you.
Yeah, 24th.
That was my only question.
The final thing, I would like to explore our insurance as a town. That's why I was asking why, if Jenny, so I will not go into any more because Jeannie had left and I don't want to
Which
have a
kind?
discussion. Our health, how we administer health insurance in this town.
Okay.
Whether there are other cost saving, whether there's another way we can do it, whether through the GIC or another. I believe there's another entity that provides municipal insurance. Some towns use, and I would like to at least kick off that discussion at a future meeting. I'm not looking for full analysis at a.
I'd like to understand, I think we were what's called self-funded, is
Or
that right?
self-insured.
Self-insured, yeah.
Self-insured, so I would like to understand that process versus other processes and why we're self-insured where
Yeah,
most
as
of our
part of
counterparts.
this conversation,
Yeah,
I would like to know that too.
I'd like to understand it.
Because there's probably
Well,
pros
we're
and.
meeting at 8 tomorrow morning, if you'd like to join.
Oh,
The insurance committee. It's gonna
I'll
be-
let them
and
know.
who's on
my
the
head-
insurance committee?
This man right here.
Yes, I am your liaison.
And who else is on there?
We have Jeannie, we have Mary,
Betsy.
there's, Betsy, the superintendent, the business manager for the schools, trying to think, it's Hollywood Squares, we're always on Zoom. Who else is on there?
Well, if you could pass
Yes.
along my request as well as.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I can tell you, and not to get ahead of whatever Jeannie or Mary will tell you, but in terms of being self-insured versus the other a third-party source, it allows us more flexibility in terms of plans, and we actually save a fair amount of money doing it.
Well, I at least want to kick the tire on that.
But absolutely, sure.
I mean, I'm glad you're asking again, because it looks like we need to do it again, because we reviewed that. She made a deep presentation when we went to the
Yeah,
finance committee, right? So,
right.
but obviously, people still asking questions, so I think it's good that we're.
It's a big chunk of our budget.
Yeah, no. So people are asking questions. We already had the presentation. Let's do it again.
Okay. We have, we canceled our committee appointments. We'll do that at a later date. We have a one-day liquor license. I will recuse myself. I don't know that I need to leave. I'll just point out, the applicant is my wife.
She wants to drink a lot of liquor.
And no, this is a well-run event.
Joking.
I will leave it at that. But I certainly, for the sake of our audience, I do not benefit in any way, shape, or form, neither does my wife, financially. So, but I will just step away for a second.
Oh, so that'll be me. So is there anybody here to speak to this? So this is a Battle of the Book Club's liquor license for the Friends of the Duxbury Free Library, and I will take a motion.
I move that Ms. Amanda McGee, as a representative of the Friends of the Duxbury Free Library, is granted a one-day wine and malt license to hold the Battle of the Book Clubs on Friday, April 11th, 2025, from 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. at the Duxbury Free Library, 77 Alden Street, Duxbury, contingent upon the conditions of the license.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Mike, you're all set.
It was a tough one,
He even left the room.
I know.
as he should have.
I don't want to. All right. Event permits. We have a annual Pinewood Animal Hospital 5K race.
My dog goes to this vet. Should I step out?
Depends, you run
I
out
don't
of
know.
I'm joking.
I don't know if you want to go down that rabbit hole. All right. I'm happy to take a motion.
I have a question. Is the applicant here by any chance?
This is about the track. I actually ran this once.
Okay.
What's the question?
She says she's raised her hand. It's a, you go down, come back.
Yep.
Oh, Anne Marie's here, not the, okay. Is that who?
Yeah, Anne Mary Winchester.
She's my neighbor.
Can you guys?
We can hear you now, Anne Marie.
Great.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I'm here. I'm actually the applicant.
Great. Yeah. Hi, Anne Marie. It's Brian. Thank you for being here. This is at my request. When I looked at the map and considering the condition of Keene Street, given all the construction, I'm curious to know if you've had an opportunity to review the condition of the street and whether it's suitable for the race. And it's, I know you have insurance, but I'm concerned about twisted ankles, trips, falls, because it's been hit pretty hard with construction. Even down at Camp Wing as well, there's construction on the street there.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I can go drive over there because I live right down the street, but it's typically something that we discuss with the police department, and it's based on what their recommendation is.
Okay.
So I can certainly go over there, take a look, and report back to the police department and see what their thoughts are on it.
Okay. So you.
And what alternate routes they would allow us to use.
All right, that's what I was getting at. So there's a potential for an alternate route. And how would that work, Rainey, with us, if there's an alternate route? Does it have to come back?
Yeah.
Unless it's conditioned, do you know?
No. I mean, if you approve it and there's a change in the route, that's between them.
And the
Right.
police department.
Right, but the neighbors would need to know on the new route,
Yeah,
right?
it has to come back. We're not,
Yeah, we would want to see that because I don't want to have a situation where, I'm not worried about this race, but other races, maybe this one, but I don't want people to think they can change the routes and not
Well,
give.
they go through the police department. And
I know, but we have this on TV, we let people know, people can come in and
Right.
express their issues, so I don't want to get in the practice of changing routes after so if they do change the route, I would like this to come back.
Right, if they change the route, then I asked them for a copy of the change, the route, either in words or on a map, so I can show you.
Great, thank you very
I
much.
do that.
All right.
Yeah, and if we were to change the route, I mean, I can't do that until I talk to the police department.
Right.
And I don't know if they will be able to tell me that at this point. I don't know how long construction is supposed to be going on.
Oh, forever.
Yeah.
DPW might be able to
Forever.
answer that for you too, Anne Marie, if you stop and talk to Sheila as well as the police department.
Oh, no,
then
no,
they-
that construction's ongoing.
Oh, okay, well.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
months
different
and
sections
years
keep getting
and-
dug up. So that's why I wanted the applicant to be here tonight, just so we had this back and forth. Because on the paper, it looks fine, and especially where they've run it before.
Right. Yeah, I
But if
didn't
you've
know.
driven it, and of course, it's been a while since I ran a 5K. However, I think I'd maybe be a little concerned. I just don't want the animal hospital to, get into any hot water but just because of the roadway conditions that we don't have any control over, and we have limited control, but it's not like we're going to pave it anytime soon, so it's nice and smooth, so. All right, I appreciate that, Anne Marie, thank
I can go
you.
take a look at it. I am a runner, so I have a pretty good idea on what I will and will not run on based on the condition of the roads. We've got plenty of roads that are not runnable in the town of Duxbury, unfortunately.
School Street.
So I will go take a look at it. I will get in touch with the police department. Our main concern at this point is getting registration open, so we can't actually do that until we have select board approval. So I would just ask that if we have to do a change of route, if it would be possible to get right back on the agenda.
Yeah. Yeah,
We can
I
approve
think we
it.
can approve it
And,
tonight.
you know, another couple of months to get on the agenda, which of course, I know you guys were working on town meeting, so that's certainly much more important than what I'm doing here, of course, but it definitely impacts the success of the race if we can't open registration until
Sure.
May.
No, well, I'm sure we're going to approve it tonight, based upon the existing proposed course.
All right.
So to that end, I'd be happy to offer a motion.
Yes, please.
I move that Ms. Anne Marie Winchester, as representative of the South Shore Race Management LLC, is granted permission to hold the 6th annual Pinewood Animal Hospital 5K race in Duxbury on Sunday, June 8th, 2025, from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. and contingent upon the conditions of the license.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't believe we usually have an applicant here for this. Does anybody have any questions, or are you be happy to take a motion on it?
Was this the one, was this the one that last year somebody had some of the neighbors had an issue with? Or was this something else? There was one that came through town, we were only a leg of an overall, I don't remember which race it was.
That was probably the Ragnar relay.
That was
Ragnar
it.
race.
The race
Yes,
you're
that's
thinking
it.
of,
All right, that's not
It was
this.
a foot race, it was the Ragnar relay, and it came through Marshfield down into Duxbury.
Right. And it's a for-profit
Yeah.
organization.
Right.
It's a
Yeah.
for-profit,
That one's
yeah.
in May, I don't know, I don't think they're doing it in New England this year, but,
All right,
sorry.
That's
I
all.
don't
Thank
think-
Thank you.
Anne Marie.
appreciate it.
Thank
but
you.
that's what you're referring to, though.
Yep, that was it.
Not a for-profit one.
I move that Ms. Sandy Harslam, as a representative of National Multiple Sclerosis Society, Greater New England Chapter, is granted permission to conduct a portion of their annual MS Cape Cod Getaway Bike Ride in the town of Duxbury on Saturday, June 28th, 2025, and contingent upon the conditions of the permit.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. I know everybody's running in this one.
Yeah, you're our designated runner, Mike. I will
Getting
move
slower every year.
that Ms. Whitney Carlson, as a representative of the Duxbury Education Foundation, is granted permission to hold a road race on Thursday, July 4th, 2024, beginning at 6 a.m. registration to approximately 11 a.m. and condition upon the conditions of the license.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right.
Did we actually get minutes with our packets?
No, I didn't get a
Okay.
minute.
It's just a one-page
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, from
it-
town meeting.
town meeting.
Oh, yeah, okay,
It
yeah.
was,
All right, I did look at that. I didn't realize what I was reading.
Yes.
I don't think
All right.
I realized what I was reading.
It was,
I don't remember seeing it.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
We got it,
but
yeah.
it had the
Yeah.
executive session for tonight on it.
Yeah.
No, I have an open session. It was
Okay, never mind, it doesn't matter.
just the harbor law.
Yeah.
It
Whatever.
was discussed at town meeting.
Then I will move to approve the minutes, the open session minutes of March 8th, 2025, as presented.
Oh, second, sorry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. I believe we can, Ryan, roll.
Yes, we have a number of announcements this evening. Number one, annual town election will be held on Saturday, March 22nd at the Lieutenant Timothy Steele Building, 130 St. George Street. Polls will be open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Vote by mail ballots may be turned in at the town clerk drop box behind Town Hall or the town clerk's office by 8 p.m. on Election Day. Number two, 2025 dog licenses are available. Reminder, all dogs over the age of 6 months must be licensed annually. There will be a late fee in the amount of $25 assessed for each unlicensed dog as of April 1st. Number 3, 2025 beach and transfer station stickers. The transfer station stickers and beach stickers effective April 1st, 2025 through March 31st, 2026 are available to purchase. Stickers may be purchased online by visiting town.duxbury.ma.us and clicking the link to purchase under the quote services unquote tab on the homepage by calling City Hall Systems at 508-381-5455 or by mailing in or dropping off an application and supporting documents to Stickers Department, Duxbury Town Hall, 878 Tremont Street, Duxbury, Mass. 02332. Applications are available on the town website and inside lobby of Town Hall for your convenience. If you're dropping off an application, please drop off in the black secure lockbox behind Town Hall with a self-addressed stamped envelope. Additional information regarding sales and current services can be located on the homepage of the town's website, town.duxbury.ma.us. Stickers can also be purchased in person at Town Hall during normal business hours. Number 4, the MBTA Communities Working Group will the MBTA Communities Working Group update will be on Tuesday, March 25th, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., and Wednesday, March 26th, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Duxbury Free Library. And it makes reference to an attached flyer, which I'll read. The MBTA Communities Working Group update. We heard you loud and clear. The town is pursuing technical compliance with the law while maintaining local control and minimizing the potential for out-of-place, large-scale housing. The MBTA Working Group needs your engagement. Join us to lend your voice to our plans for achieving compliance with the state law while preserving Duxbury's distinctive character and valuable state grants. You have the opportunity to shape these decisions now. These meetings, as I said, will be March 25th at 11 a.m. or between 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and the following day, March 26th in the evening, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Both meetings will be held at the Mary Room at the Duxbury Free Library. One more. Let's see, next scheduled select board meeting will be on Monday, March 24, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. That's
All
it.
right, thank you. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.